Hello, everybody. It's early afternoon, Saturday, and this delicious drink was made by my friend, and this is not an alcoholic beverage. I'm so fatigued from yesterday. Absolutely just worn out. I don't know if you can see it on my face, but I didn't even get out of bed till 1 o'clock. And anyway, so let me tell you how this drink is made. This is fresh lime juice, agave syrup, and club or soda from a trigger thing behind the bar. The guns that they use to dispense soda. It is excellent, and I really need hydration. But anyway. So, two things I want to talk about today, and one thing is climate change. There are some remarkable things going on in this world. I mean, places that are just, on fire because of climate change. And today I saw a video where Las Vegas was flooding like never before. Has this ever happened? And Las Vegas is a desert, right? Well, I don't think I've ever seen it rain in Las Vegas myself. I mean, I think I've been there 6 or 7 times. It might have sprinkled. Sometimes in the desert it'll sprinkle because that's when the cactus, they come alive, and when it does rain, they hold the cactus pads and the succulents. They hold on to the water, and they reserve the water for dry periods, which are most of the year. So anyway, climate change is increasing fast, and people are oblivious to what's going on. They just choose not to take accountability and reduce their families and reduce them to zero. So even though I'm an antinatalist, and antinatalists believe that you should not procreate because of the harm that it does to the offspring. And basically that's the main premise of antinatalism. But you can't deny climate change issues. You can't deny overpopulation, environmental harm, species extinction. I'm kind of happy for species extinction because there's just less animals to suffer, but there just keeps people keep adding factory farmed animals to the equation, domesticated animals, and this was bizarre. I was in an Asian market, and they had frogs, like Red Lobster has lobsters with rubber bands around their claws or whatever. This market had frogs, and they were big frogs, and they had turtles also. Now, I mean, a frog is a boy, is a rat, is a dog, is a baby, is a teenager, is a elephant. Yeah, we're all beings, and we should not be exploited, right? But I had this crushing feeling when I saw the frogs. Like, I wanted to buy some frogs. I don't know how to raise frogs. I don't even know what they eat except, insects. The frogs were looking up at, just facing the customers. Now, the frogs don't know what's going on. They probably had very limited knowledge and conception of what's going to go on, but they're not in a natural environment, and I'm sure they were domestically created, but they were big frogs, like maybe like that. And it really, really hurt me to see the frogs that I know that are going to be, beheaded or gutted, without any kind of compassion for somebody's meal. I even put a post on Facebook and Instagram with the picture, and I asked anybody, I said, do you know if these frogs can be released into the environment? And I got no reply. I mean, I would buy, they were about $16 a piece. I guess they're kind of a delicacy, frog legs and all that stuff. I mean, maybe the whole frog is killed for frog legs. But anyway, the frogs just stared at the customers. Now, I mean, it doesn't mean that they know what's going on. It doesn't mean that they were pitiful or they were looking for compassion. I can't say that. They actually looked bored. They were in like a big aquarium full of like, I don't know, this much water. So half of their bodies was in the water. And they were still. They weren't trying to swim or trying to walk. I don't know. I've never seen a frog like this before. So I don't know where they were from or anything, but I mean, the frogs and then the turtles, I mean, they're not going to have a happy ending, right? So yeah, climate change is really, really heavy, and it's hitting all continents, and it's going to hit rapidly, and I know it's going to hit in my lifetime, and I know it's going to hit severely and irreparably, where there's simply no going back. And with the rapid growth of human population, like literally since I was born, like population has doubled, folks, doubled. And no, I mean it's more than doubled. I think it was about 3 million when I was born in 61, and now, so it's right at 8 billion. In fact, if you go to World Population Clock, it has a really good, timer, and like every second that passes, it shows like how many children are born, how many people died, how many a net sum of people that we add to our global population. Like every minute, every second, every day, every week. It's just really, really hideous. The other thing I want to talk about is the ongoing disadvantages of women. I just saw a woman, she was eating by herself with 3 children, and I could just tell by her ethnicity and her demeanor, this is not a choice for her. Children were literally climbing over her, and she seemed to be struggling with depression and just being overwhelmed. But women, as long as they keep reproducing, they are going to be considered second-class citizens in that respect. And also the double standard is very real, folks. I mean, there's not a month that goes by that I can't recall an event that took place with a man or a woman that equaled misogyny. The dismissiveness that women get because they are mostly non-threatening, and because men refuse to relinquish power, and men know that they have a privileged position in the world, globally. Now, for you people out there who say, but I'm a man and I don't have power, you would have far less if you were a woman. I'm telling you, the few women who do make it to management or presidential positions or you know, politics. They struggle. And let me tell you, folks, being a woman, outspoken antinatalist, is far less accepted than being a male. I mean, it almost crucifies your reputation as a nurturer, as a female. I'm an extremely nurturing person. I mean, I salvage plants if I see them at a yard sale and people don't want them and they're just left, you know, to die. I salvage plants, people. And I cultivate cactus pads, Nepales. And I start growing cactuses, you know, from cutting the pads and using a root growth hormone and watering them. And I'll have to show you one plant that I took from New Mexico. It's a cactus, opuntia. It was a classic cactus pad, opuntia. Anyway, so I was doing a lot of research on cactus when I was in my 20s, and I'm really fascinated with cactuses and succulents. And I took this cactus pad from New Mexico, and without being put into dirt, soil. Don't ever say dirt to a geologist. Say soil. When I took geology, I had the best geology teacher in the world. Don't even know his name, but this was in college, and he was a big fan of clouds, so I kind of adapted his, cumulonimbus and I know all those terms, but he was fascinated with clouds, and so I kind of, I took on that appreciation for clouds. But I'm a nurturer, and I care for plants and animals and people, and it's just in my nature. It's just what it is, and I think partly because I am female. But the fact that I don't promote natalism, I am accused of being some kind of like alien woman who, tortures children and I don't know, hates people and, doesn't have a nurturing bone in her body. That's absolutely untrue. It's the opposite of reality. But it's so much more difficult for women to be a practicing antinatalist. And I'm sure the women can tell you that they just get like, hate or judgment. It's just so much more judgment from the community or the culture for not wanting children. And sometimes when I go to Mexico, I'm always asked, do you have children? I mean, it's just something that people say, without even thinking, why do they even care? And I'll say no. And they say, why? You don't like children? And if I did like children, liking children doesn't mean having children. Liking children means that you want to nurture children, but it doesn't mean that you should bring them into existence to suffer, age, and die. I'll be preaching antinatalism to the day I die, but it doesn't yield me respect. I haven't had any threats. Nobody's threatened me, but I have lost friends. Gwen, you're one of them. Gwen in Texas. She should have been an antinatalist because her daughter died at 27. And I think because of mental illness or drug intake, just multiple problems. and the daughter left behind two young children from two different men. So Gwen, of anybody, you should be an antinatalist. Gwen is raising her oldest son, Christian. But anyway, Gwen was a really good friend of mine, and we knew each other for years, and I really, really liked her daughter. I really, really liked Heather. Me and Heather really, really connected. Heather was very into animals and dogs, and she was much younger than me. I guess when I was 30, she was 16 or something like that. So I was very deeply upset when Heather died. But anyway, just because you had children does not mean you're a nurturer, does not mean you're caring. Sometimes the very opposite. And I think women are deluded into thinking that, you know, they should have children, or you know, it fulfills their womanly instincts. I mean, you can learn to cook, you can cultivate plants, vegetables, you can rescue animals, you can you can babysit, you can work at a nursery. There's so many things you can do. Work at a animal shelter. You simply don't have to have kids to be nurturing. And I mean, this message is probably falling on deaf ears. But I guess to sum up my video is that climate change is increasing. You can't deny it. You know, you're just totally ignorant if you're denying what's going on. It's almost like the Holocaust deniers. You're just stupid people. And secondly, it's much, much harder to be a woman because reproductively, we are oppressed. We're reproductively oppressed. And it's not going to go away. And second of all, there's a double standard. So all of those things really, really hurt women. And, you know, my shout out to every woman who is active on YouTube as an antinatalist. I don't want to mention names because I would eliminate somebody, and I don't want to, you know, leave a name out. So all of you women, here's a shout out, because you're going against nature, and you're going against culture and society. But it's greatly needed. It's the most needed expression and delivery of a message that ever was. And that is to cease reproduction and, you know, leave children out of the equation when it comes to bearing them yourself, and stopping all reproduction, because every living being is going to suffer, and it's just not fair. It's cruel. It's immoral. And I don't know any child-free woman who's regretful. I don't know one. And you know, I know a lot of child-free women on Facebook, Instagram, and I know a couple of local women. Nobody has regrets, but many, many women have regrets having children. Like the two women I know over 70, they are just beside themselves with regret, because they know that they have brought on so much destruction to their daughters. And both of these women have daughters. And it's just ongoing, and it's unpreventable. Once you bring somebody into existence, conception, birth, placement into existence, you know, they're exposed to harm. They're just like targets. Your children are like targets for worldly abuses. So I'm going to end the video. It's getting kind of long, and finish up my drink here. So Thank you for watching. Please share and subscribe, comment, and don't reproduce.